Town Council approves the Hyannis Parking Overlay District. A vote on the shooting range is delayed again. And we tell you about an event that aims to unite the community and police force. These stories on this episode of Barnstable Today. It's Friday, July 22nd, 2016. I'm Sarah Mannel. Town Council approves the controversial Hyannis Parking Overlay District. Growth Management Director Joanne Miller-Buntich attempted to clear up any questions about the proposal before the vote.
This ordinance creates a predictable permitting environment for commercials, parking lot owners, and for the town. The performance standards for each of these lots will no longer rely on varied rules and standards in place when the zoning or the licensing permissions were first issued, and creates instead a uniform, more modern, and safe standard for all parking lot businesses within the HPOD. Excuse me for I will say it for the record, Hyannis Parking Overlay District. I apologize for the acronym. Existing regulations do not explicitly include requirements for emergency access. Emergency responders helped develop this ordinance. Ensuring swift and predictable access for public safety response to crowded parking lots was a performance standard we worked on for some time. The resulting requirements for emergency access lanes within the parking lots in the proposed HPOD meet the emergency responders criteria. The HPOD standards also include predictable and clear requirements for permitting and also provide predictable, clear standards for enforcement should that become necessary. This ordinance requires clearly marked spaces of a specific dimension and also demarcation of property boundaries to prevent vehicles being parked on abutting properties. These standards are not explicitly included in existing regulations.
Ultimately, the council voted 11-2 in favor of the Hyannis Parking Overlay District. A vote on a proposed land swap that would allow for the West Barnstable shooting range to reopen is postponed for another few months. Assistant Town Manager Mark Ells updated the council on recent developments regarding the range.
The two orders that are before us are relevant to a transfer that the state of Massachusetts, and this kind of begins the story of the changing playing field, a transfer of lands so that the shooting range would no longer be located on conservation land, but would rather be located on municipal land. And there is a state policy, a no net loss policy for conservation land. So the state asks us to provide a parcel that is just a municipal parcel with no conditions, with no attachments, of just a municipal parcel of equal area and of environmental value for whatever we would be taking out of conservation land, thus the no net loss. So that's the mode that we have been in that really has been preventing this issue to move to closure relevant to the council vote. There's also management aspects that I'll address with you tonight as to how I am recommending and intend to proceed as we kind of phase through reopening the range. And the assumption is that we will reopen the range in a safe, environmentally safe and an operationally safe manner in the future. The second part of this is that once we choose this parcel and go through a local process with conservation and with our town council, then it needs to go up to the state legislature so that the land can be taken out of conservation, that there's a process and it requires a 2/3 vote of the legislature. Just real quickly, a little bit of history here now, looking back to 2013. What really triggered all of this is that the state said to us, if the town wishes to keep the range open, operation that is safe and in compliant with current best management practices may result in the loss of usable conservation land that is accessible to the public for passive recreation. Should this be the case, the Executive Office of Energy and Environmental Affairs, that's really what EEA stands for, may require the town to mitigate the losses by dedicating to conservation and passive recreational use an equal or greater size and value. And the value they're talking about, we've had lots of discussions about this, isn't monetary, it's environmental. And so that's was a little bit of a unclear area because what we were proposing for a swap was of greater monetary value, but they were pretty clear on their position relevant to that in recent discussions with them. I have discussed as recently as yesterday with the Assistant Secretary of Executive Office of Energy and Environmental Affairs. It's easier to say it than use the acronym. This issue. So my discussions are current. So the issue before us is we originally proposed to the state, well, the range itself is about 2.2 acres. And that's the open area with the berms and the backstops. And, it originally was a couple of sand, or maybe even one sand pit originally, developed over the years into a more formal range and existed that way until the town manager closed it several years ago due to an insurance concern that we had relevant to modernizing it to comply so that we could have insurance coverage on it. Subsequent to that, all of these other issues came forward from the state before we could reopen it. So we began to look at, okay, how much area might we need to be able to exchange a piece of conservation into municipal for a piece of municipal into conservation. We identified that we needed 16.3 acres after numerous discussions through our conservation agent commission with the state. There was a real effort to try to minimize the amount of acreage that we were taking out of conservation land. But there were pretty significant limitations on what that range could be in the future. It really could be no more than what it is.
And Town Council President Jessica Rep-Grassetti postponed the vote until November 3rd. Hyannis resident Andre Barboza is hoping to unite the community and the police force with Barnstable Unity Day. Barboza told Town Council about the event during public comment.
Just, I think everybody's aware of what's going on nationally, and I think it's there's a disconnect between the minority community and the police. And really, our goal here is to have some sort of celebration, cookout, community event, and not really bring so much negativity where we're even discussing the issues at hand, but more of a, there's going to be issues, but we have to understand that we're together and we want to do it together, and we need to show unity. And we've kind of put some feelers out. Huge response from sponsors. We already got a donation from the Lucio Foundation for $5,000. That's our plan, and the date is August 5th. We're thinking Friday evening from 4 to 7. And we have a whole bunch of sponsors. We're going to have stuff for the kids, face painting, bounce houses, cookout. They're going to have a concert, a few speakers, educators. Just an event. Really not discussing anything negative, but just a chance for people to come out, turn off the TV, turn off the negativity, understand we're in it together. And, Chief McDonald and I and my brother, we've worked on future things we can do to kind of help bridge the gap, but I think it's good to start off by showing and understanding that we are a team and in it together.
And Barnstable Unity Day will be held on the Hyannis Village Green Friday, August 5th from 4 to 7. The Department of Public Works is planning changes and improvements to the transfer station in Marston's Mills. 2 public meetings will be held. The first meeting will be held Monday, July 25th at 11 a.m. in the Town Hall hearing room, and the second will be held Tuesday, August 2nd at 6, also in the Town Hall hearing room. The meetings will include an overview of the proposed site improvements and will allow residents to offer their suggestions. All are welcome to attend. Well, be sure to tune in to our hour-long news program, Barnstable This Morning, weekdays at 8 a.m. On Monday's show, we will chat with Town Manager Mark Ells. We'll talk with Energy Coordinator Richard Elrick. Plus, we'll have all the news and information you need. For Barnstable Today, I'm Sarah Mannel.